Got the gator all loaded up with a bunch of trees. We just finished planting a bunch of these Virginia junipers on the front of the property line out this way. We got to get the rest of these in the ground too. We got a bunch of berry bushes over here, blueberry, raspberry, some Honeycrisp apples, and then we got some nut trees over here and some other persimmon. So a lot of these trees we're probably going to take and put them on the back line back there. But right now we really got to get these plants or these trees in the ground because it's about that season and I don't want them in containers anymore. So this is the driveway coming in here. I'm thinking about putting the couple blueberry bushes up in here. They'll get plenty of sun through here, I think, and then they can just kind of take over if they want. And then I'm thinking raspberry bushes up here. We needed a evergreen tree there because we got, if you look at the driveway, it comes in, got an S, can't really see in. And that's for privacy and security. I don't need people looking from the road and seeing everything that I have and, you know, my kids playing and whatnot. So it's the whole point of the 30-foot border around the property, the S drive, and then all these evergreen trees we're putting in now is really just so, you know, nobody can be too nosy. All right, so we got raspberries there, and then over here we're gonna put in our first blackberry and then kind of continue on down with blackberries. And I'm kind of hoping that the berries just kind of take everything over through here. We're also going to put some evergreen trees in here, but probably toward the back side of the woods, so those will fill in as well. take these tags back off eventually, but my memory is horrible, and I know I'll forget what that is. So once I can make a little drawing map of the property and where everything is, then I'll be comfortable taking these off. Or I guess we could wait until they produce fruit and then we'll know what they are, but whatever. Buried the gator. She's really just high centered. It's not like she's got a ton of ground clearance anyway. It doesn't look that bad, but this stuff is so soupy out here. So I was just driving across it and then found one of those holes, kind of pulled me in, and then we high centered. So we have to walk up somewhere up there to get the excavator and a chain, and then we'll come drag this thing out. This might be my slowest machine, but the most comfortable and probably the least likely to get stuck out there. Pretty safe. So put all those trees in the ground yesterday, and there's a lot of deer out here, and deer like to eat things that are green that they can reach. So we need to build some cages to go around these trees, otherwise the deer are just going to eat them off. All right, so I got thinking about it. I did the 3. They take up a lot of space, and I don't really feel like walking them all the way out there and having to carry them, probably 2 at a time. So what I think it's gonna be smarter to do is just grab a couple rolls of fence, throw it in the back of the gator, and build them by the trees. I don't really know how much we'll need, so we'll come back for more. This should get us a good start. And then what we're gonna do is, and then we'll come back and grab all these old T-posts and stick those in the ground to hold these in place. The rain and snow have just been a huge problem to like keep this project moving forward, because I've got trees that need to go in the ground because we're running out of space in their containers. So I don't want the roots to be crammed in there. And they're starting to turn green and leaf out in my garage, so they need to get in the ground. I didn't have time to finish grading this out because it's been so wet, and you know, part of that is getting these trees up. Every time I bring the skid steer out here, I dang near bury it in like 3 holes each day, and it's just one of these days it's really going to be buried and not be able to get out under its own power, and then maybe the excavator gets it out, maybe it doesn't. So that's why you kind of see like we're not ready to put trees in the ground. I would prefer to have all of this cleaned up and graded out and then put trees in the ground, but now we're going to be grading around the trees. I selected the placement of the trees based on like probably where the finish grade is going to be, or I can kind of leave it mounted up around the tree a little bit, but the trees won't find themselves in low spots. But because of the terrain near the tree, it's just easier to build that stuff out on this. What I probably ran the tractor across this once or twice before I quit. Got tired of dragging mud around, so what do we have here? Wild persimmon. Poorly handwritten, but I was cold, muddy, and my Sharpie was really dirty. And when I say like wild walnut and wild persimmon, they're just not like your named, like necessarily preferred persimmon or walnut. It's just gonna be like something that would kind of grow wild out here, and that's definitely for like the animals and deer. And they were a lot cheaper than like the named persimmon trees that I also bought, which are down the way a little bit. Honeycrisp apple. So I was talking to a family member the other day, and they asked me who makes the best hand tools, and they said they thought it was Craftsman. I don't know if that's the case. Craftsman used to be a really good brand, I'd say. You know, I'm not talking about like Snap-on, but like something that your average individual would have in their toolbox in their garage, who doesn't necessarily use their tools professionally. So if I buy tools for somebody as a present, or like my daughter, I've already kind of started her toolbox, just like my mom and dad did for me. And then when I left the house, I had mostly a toolbox full of tools at that point. So my plan is to do the same thing for my daughter. So I buy her Craftsman, just because I know they're not garbage. I just don't know if they're like at this level the best. But I'd like your opinion if you want to leave a comment down below on what you prefer. I know DeWalt makes some tools, Cobalt. My buddy's got a DeWalt socket set that's really nice. Most of my stuff is Craftsman. These are Crescent. Crescent's never been bad, in my eyes anyway. And then for wrenches, I have a lot of Harbor Freight too. I have like a socket set and a wrench set pretty much per vehicle. And then I got a set in the garage, and I got a set out here now. So I've got a lot of sets of tools, and sometimes they all get bundled together and I find all of them in my garage. But yeah, drop a comment below and tell me what your preferred tool is, or what you think the best brand for like a homeowner, maybe even like handyman level, but not necessarily mechanic, professional. Red Delicious apple. I promise I didn't plant the trees upside down. Just apparently put all the tags back on them upside down. Russian pomegranate. Giant Fuyu persimmon. Wildlife Chickasaw plum tree. This is another of the same plum tree. Look at that. Look how nice it's already doing. You see that green? This is where we got stuck in the gator yesterday, so we're gonna... It's not really a whole lot of other places to go, so I guess maybe we'll just try and skirt over that way and get around. You can see where it's all torn up here. Probably dug a tree out, so the clay and sand is on top, which tells me there was a large hole here somewhere. Which really there were holes all through here, which is why it's all torn up, because there were a lot of these, whatever these trees are here, knot pines.